So I decided to research into PTSD a bit more and sort of the effects and symptoms that has on ex-veterans or anyone who suffers with it quite severely. Because my character within the piece about PTSD suffers with PTSD, and I was interested to make that more naturalistic and for me have more intention backing it up. So I looked at some of the symptoms, and these are some of the symptoms. Flashbacks and bad dreams, more alert and vigilant looking for potential danger, feeling guilt or blame, and might lose sense of enjoyment. Feeling alienated from people around you such as friends or family, and avoiding conversations and events that because they're afraid of a trigger or because they think that they're going to get triggered by it. So from this information, I thought that these after effects can affect interaction with other people. So this can really damage relationships. It's almost as if they're cutting themselves off from other people, as it did say, feeling alienated from people around you, such as friends or family. Friends or family are probably the closest people in their lives. So to then feel like they can't talk to them or they're avoiding them is sort of a huge impact and an insight into how their relationship works. It's almost like a disconnection from life. It's almost very surreal and, very tentative and afraid. And I think those are key themes that run through all these symptoms. A lot to do psychological. So a lot of it is to do psychologically, like bad dreams, nightmares, flashbacks and stuff like that. You can't see that in a person all the time. So just like the character in our piece, I'm sort of zoning out, and what is going on in my head is on downstage left is this fight, which you don't see in a person with PTSD. You don't see them sort of screening what is happening in their mind. So within adding this to our piece, I decided that my character needs, for me to maintain this character, I need to keep this in mind. It's almost a bit of emotional memory recall to think of a time where I felt panicked or I felt like I'm having a bad memory, and relate this to these symptoms of people who have PTSD. I could be having a flashback, I could be having a nightmare, I could be trying to avoid the conversation that my character is having with Sasha's character. All these different things sort of blended together, and using my emotional memory recall to use these facts all sort of blended together to have that intention and for it to be a naturalistic reaction. And when I'm in the zone, I'm sort of zoning out. It shows this idea of having a flashback and that loss of concentration, like they mentioned, avoiding conversations and events because it could trigger something. And that zoning off is almost a clear view of that and a clear portrayal of that. And it's very real and to the effects of someone with PTSD. I can try to understand the trauma side more of how a certain word can trigger something off. But I think all these facts have been really key to me understanding my character and understanding that they're not suffering physically. They're not suffering because of someone else. My character's not suffering because of Sasha's character. I'm suffering because of the memories that my character has. And that is one of the most key parts of PTSD. It is based on memory and just these horrible haunting memories that keep coming back. And I think I've tried to incorporate that into my character as much as I can. It gives me the intention, even though I don't suffer with PTSD. I'm not a veteran. Obviously, I don't suffer with any form of PTSD. But again, it is using that emotional memory recall to think of a time that maybe I had a memory that I didn't want to bring back. I didn't want to trigger it so it comes back, and I didn't want to feel that emotion again. So I think that's a key thing to it. Knowing these facts is almost like linking it to emotional memory recall. I know that this is what they suffer with. Has there been a time where I have felt these same emotions? Now, this is evident in our work, and I've popped a video below or next to this of James's piece, or an extract from James's piece, where my character is just sort of zoning out and this fight is happening. Now, in terms of moving forward, I want to read James's transcript and upload it to my process so that it's always there, to see the symptoms in this interview, see if I can spot any of these things in the interview.